Hey soulmates, you are welcome to Sew with Cherry. How you all doing? Thank you very much for stopping by again today. For all the old members and all the new members, you're welcome. In this channel, we upload sewing tutorial on how to cut and sew both male and female unique attires. You're welcome. So today, I want to take us on how to draft, cut and sew Peplum bustier blouse. First of all, you know what we do first is that we come down by 1/2 inch from the up part, and then we make a line there. Then from there we take all our input all our vertical measurement. Now the first measurement to input here is the armhole length, of which her armhole length is 8 inches. But because this is going to be a sleeveless blouse, I'm not going to mark it at this 8 inches so that it will not show the person's breast. I'm marking 7.5 inches. Now her bust point is 11 inches, her under bust point is 15 inches, and her half length is 17 inches plus half inch joining allowance 17.5. I'm going to mark the same point in two distant places so I could make them in a straight line. So I'm going to connect all of them in a straight line. Her shoulder is 15 inches. 15 inches divided by 2 is 7.5. Then I'm going to go ahead and mark that 7.5. I'm not going to include half inch sewing allowance because this is sleeveless and it needs to come in more than go out. So I'm going to leave it just at the place it is. Or you could also go ahead and subtract half inch from it, and that is marking 7 inches, right? We're going to mark the same thing down here, and then we're going to connect it in a straight line. So at this point, let's work on the shoulder slope. At this armhole length, we're going to come down by 1 inch, and then at the neck region, we're going to come in by 3 inches, and then we're going to connect the two dots together to get the slope. Now afterwards, we are going to this top is a neck depth of 4 inches, so I'm going to mark 3.5 inches so that after sewing with half inch we end in 4 inches. And then the width of the top is actually, the neck width of the top is actually 5 inches, so I'm going to mark 4.5 so that after sewing it is going to end there. Then for the armhole, we are going to divide what we have left here into 2. Here we have 6.5 inches divided by 2 is 3.25. So we're going to bring this out, and then we're going to mark 3/4 inch. Then we're going to use our straight ruler to connect from here to here. And then we're going to mark the bust round. Her bust round is 9 inches. So we are going to add 2 inches sewing allowance. So but for now, we're going to connect from this point to this point. Afterwards, we are going to take our darting. For the dart, her nipple to nipple is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4. So I'm going to mark that as 4 inches here and here. So mind you that this is chest, this is bust point, this is under bust length, and this is waist length. So we're going to connect this point at the bust point down to the waist length. Now next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to measure the armhole. Here we have 8 inches, so we're going to divide it by 2, so we have 4 inches. No, at this 4 inches, I'm going to take that of 1 inch, divide it by 2. So at this center point, I'm going to connect from here to here, go up here by 1 inch, and then come down here by 1 inch. Now her bust round is 39 inches, and then her under bust round is 31 inches. Therefore 39 minus 31 gives us 8, right? Therefore this 8 divided by 2 is what? 4 inches. So I'm going to take that off 1 inch at this side and 3 inches at this side. Or I take that of 1.5 inches at this side and then 2.5 inches at this side. So both on the, so I'm going to connect from here to here and then connect from here to here. So then next thing that we're going to do is also connect from here to here and then from here to here. Now we are going to connect this. So after connecting in the curvy manner, we're going to smoothen it out. Now for this part, we are going to smoothen this place inward to blend very well with here. So with this, we are done with the darting of this. So all we have to do now is to replace all the dartings and input our horizontal measurement. Now the horizontal measurement, we start from the bust point. My client bust round is 10.25 inches. Now the dart we took out here is 1 inch, and then we measure what we took out here, ½ inch. So from this 10.25 inches, we're going to replace that of 1 inch, of 1.5 inches, and then from there we're going to add sewing allowance of 2 inches. Her waist round is 9.5 inches, 9.25 inches. We'll mark that, and then we're going to input the 2 inches sewing allowance, and then we're going to replace that of 4 inches we took out. So we're going to connect from here to here. Connect in a straight line first, and then at this, extend this line. At this under bust, come in by ½ inch, and then make a curve. All right, so like this, we are done drafting the upper bodies of this attire. So we are going to go over to drafting of the back bodies, right? So for the back panel, we are going to mark a zipper allowance of 1 inch, zipper allowance of 1 inch, and then we're going to connect. So next thing we're going to do is to input our shoulder measurement of 7.5 inches. Go ahead and mark same thing on the bust line, connect in a straight line, take shoulder slope of 1 inch, neck width of 3 inches, connect in a straight line, then take the accurate neck width of 4.5 inches as a bleed at the front neckline, then neck depth of 1 inch, connect in a curving manner to all the way to the zipper extension, divide armhole line into 2, then mark bust round. From there, make your connection, then go over to the waist round, mark waist round, that allowance and sewing allowance of 2 inches, come over to here on the bust line, add 2 inches sewing allowance, and then connect in a straight line first. Then to make it curvy, measure where we curve the front panel, measure it, and then take ½ inch inward, and then connect in a curvy manner. Afterwards, we take the zipper bulge precaution. How do we mean by that? On the waistline of the back panel, just go up, because this is peplum top, you can just go up by 1 inch or 1.5 inch, depends on how big your client's bust is. Then at that point, come out by ½ inch, connect it from there all the way to the sewing allowance, then from there all the way to the neck depth. Afterwards, this part I'm shedding off are part that we are cutting off. We are not going to be needing this part I'm shedding off. And please do not forget to dart your back panel as we added that allowance. So before we cut out this front panel, there's a precaution we need to take here. That precaution is this 1 inch, whatever this thing you took out from here, you have to replace it. So we have to go up by 1 inch, and then we'll connect from here, and then we're going to remove the sewing allowance of 2 inches from here, from this sewing allowance of 2 inches. We're going to create a new armhole to come from here to meet here, a new armhole, right? Now to dart the back panel, this is it. That's it. 4 inches from this line, and then 4 inches at the under bust line. Now we're going to, from this under bust line, we're going to go up by 1 inch. So, and then we're going to take that off 1 inch, divided by 2. Take that off 1 inch, divided by 2. So now this is how it's gonna be. Now we connect from here to here. We connect from here to here. And so this is it for the upper bodies.
For the cutting of the peplum, SA 2 inches sewing allowance plus 37 inches waist round divided by 6.28. The 6.28 here means the value for calculating the radius of circumference of a circle. So now divided by 6.28 is equals 6.2 blah blah blah, which is approximately 6. Now for the first step of the peplum, I want it to be 6 inches length, then plus 1 inch. 1 inch addition is for joining allowance and hemming allowance. Now plus 1 inch is 7 inches, plus the 6 inches will come from the waist round calculation, which is 13 inches. Now for the second step is 8 inches. It's the 3 steps precede each other with 2 inches. Therefore, if you do the same calculation we did at the first step with preceding 2 inches, you're going to get the accurate of what I got here. If what you want to use is same values I used, or go ahead and make out your own values for yourself by the length of the peplum you want to be working with. And this is the entire calculation. Just make sure that what you're doing to get the opening of the waist round of what you're working with is your waist round plus 2 inches divided by 6.28. Okay, that is the accurate standard formula for this. Now I am going to measure my fabric to make sure I get the accurate length that I want. So right now I'm going to measure in the 13 inches that I need. So I'm going to adjust that to the point of 13 inches I marked. Then after that, I'm going to multiply 13 inches times 2, which is 26 inches, to mark out the length of it on the other side. So this is 26 inches, I marked it. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. One of the most beautiful thing about this formula is that it helps to manage fabric and teach you the accurate of what you need. Then fold this into 2 to cut the first step of the peplum of 7 inches that we need. Now the first thing I'm going to do here now is I'm going to go ahead and mark the circumference of the circle that we got, which is 6 inches all around. Connect it, and then I go ahead and insert the length of the first peplum step. I'm going to go ahead and mark it all around. Please bear in mind that your marking must be very accurate and somehow close to each other so that I can get very accurate circle. So connect all the dots together and then go ahead and trim it out. First of all, before we trim it out, it is very, very important to know that you must add ½ inch joining allowance at the up part so that it will correspond accurately to the waist round that you'll be needing. If not, if you forgot to add the ½ inch, when you start joining this peplum, if you cut it at the 6 inches that were marked, you're going to be having a longer peplum than needed, and you'll be left with either to trim it out or to plait it in, which might not suit what you're making. So you must add your ½ inch sewing allowance at the up part after marking the circumference that we got. Please take note of this. This is very important. Go ahead and carry out now. So right now we're going to go ahead and make use of this first step to cut the second peplum and the third peplum. So for the second step peplum, we're cutting length of 15 inches. Now place our fabric like so and then measure out 15 inches, right? Make sure to measure out 15 inches. Then 15 inches times 2 is 13 inches. So for the length of it, we're going to mark 30 inches. Go ahead and cut it out. After that, go ahead and fold it again. That is the fourth folding. Yes. So then we are going to take the first step peplum and place it on it. So we could use it to find the round of the second step peplum. Just place it in such a manner that it's going to rhyme accurately on both sides. Afterwards, we are going to go ahead and add the preceding 2 inches at the down part, or you could just go ahead and mark the 15 inches all the way from the up part. It's still the same thing. You can choose to add 2 inches from the down part or mark 15 inches all the way from the up part like I'm doing. After that, go ahead and connect the dot. Go ahead and cut it out. For the third peplum, let me show you another way to achieve that. Just make your fold just twice like I just did now. Next thing that you're going to do is that you're going to take the step that is following it and open it up like this to be in 2 folds as well. So just go ahead and place it like this. Okay, place it in such a way that you're going to be having enough at the down part to add the preceding 2 inches length or whatever length you're working with. Then mark the length all round from where the second step stopped to whatever length that you'll be adding. Then go ahead and cut it out. And so these are the 3 of them together. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. So right now we are going to go ahead and cut the lining for them, and then iron gum stay on the lining. Then cut the upper panels so that we cut out lining for them, and then place gum stay on it. Get them ready for sewing. After cutting lining for each of the peplum, please go ahead and trim off 1/2 inch from each of the linings. The reason is that if you don't trim it off, it's going to have so much interference with you having to join it upwards after turning it with the lining. So as long as you want your work to come out neat and tidy, please go ahead and trim off 1/2 inch so that after turning with the lining, you can just go ahead and match the lining and the ankara at same point and sew them so that you will not have any parts swishing to the other part, like have bulk at some part and less at the other part. So open slit one side open. Do the same thing to all the other peplums. For the belt of the attire, go ahead and cut out 5 inches width and length of how long you want it to be. So these are the upper panels. Please don't forget to add 1/2 inch joining allowance at the 2 panels of the front one. Okay, after doing so, go ahead and iron gum stay on all the lining parts. Do not iron gum stay on the main fabric itself. Let it be ironed on all the linings alone. Okay, if you must iron anything on the fabric itself, it should be cloth gum, but then it's advisable to only iron just on the linings so that the main fabric itself stays smooth, neat and tidy. All right, right now we're going to work on the padded part. How do you do that? You just go ahead and measure the difference between bust point and under bust length. After measuring it, you have to go ahead and place the tape above from the bust point. Place it above from the bust point and mark where what you got. Then make it in a straight line. You can go ahead and increase the length of that above there, or just leave it as it is. Now, one thing that could help you as well is try and match your sewing like this, so that you know where to mark it on this other panel, right? You can decide to increase the length of this above, like I said, or leave it the way it was. Okay, then at this other panel, measure what we have under bust to bust point, and then add just 1 inch to that, and then connect like I'm doing. At this point, I'm just trying to mark exactly where I got after trying to match, which was almost like 1 inch below. So I'm going to connect it in a curvy manner like so. Make sure you get a very smooth, nice curve that will make it look like a bra inside of what you're wearing. Go ahead and cut it out, the both of them, cut them out, and then go ahead and place it on the warden and cut out, having 1/2 inch joining allowance at the joining part. Same thing to this other panel. Cut it out, having just 1/2 inch joining allowance at the joining part. Notch it at the down part of the joining part, then match it like I did. If you have any excess, go ahead and trim it out. Place on the other one and trim out accordingly. For the back upper panel, go ahead and transfer all the darts to both the lining and the main fabric itself. Mind you, the one that has the gum stay is the lining. Now go ahead and measure exactly where the wardens are supposed to be placed and pin them down on all the panels that need the warding to be pinned down on them. Afterwards, get your peplums ready for joining as well. And then in this tutorial, I'll be teaching you also how to use crinoline to turn your peplum. So after ironing your interface, first thing that you need to do is go ahead and secure this crinoline edge first before you go ahead to sew it on this, on the lining. And you're sewing it on the lining part, not on the fabric itself. So see the way I'm doing, I'm just covering it with this fabric that I'm using. You can use any other fabric that you have, but just make sure it's fabric that is thick enough to control the edge of that crinoline, so that it will not be poking on you or your client. After pinning it down, you go ahead and sew it to secure it. So then this is how to sew the crinoline. You will place the crinoline on the lining part, and then next thing you're going to be needing is hemming gum. It's very advisable to use hemming gum so that you can use it to tape it down to be very relaxed. So you leave a space of 1/2 inch for turning lining and for turning the lining. Place the crinoline from that place, and then start pinning down the crinoline together with the hemming gum as well. And then by the time you start sewing, you have to start sewing on just a 1/4 inch. A 1/4 inch only. Do not sew up to half. A 1/4 inch only. Continue pinning like so. Crinoline on the lining first, then hemming gum on top of it, and then you keep on pinning. If you're already an expert, just go ahead and only the first pinning is enough for you. Go ahead and sew as you place. After pinning it as much as you want, go ahead and sew it by a 1/4 inch as I said. After so, pull up this lining to meet the fabric itself. Pull it up like I'm doing. Then address it very well. You can see the space at the down part, right? The 1/2 inch space at the down part. So just take up the lining like I did. Take it up like so. See the space of 1/2 inch we left, right? Go ahead and sew by that 1/2 inch on both ends of this peplum. After securing both edges of the first, second and third one, just go ahead and turn it out. After turning it out, you're going to have it like so. See the lines, see the edge that the crinoline formed on its own with the way we did our finishing. So this way the peplum and the fabric itself, the lining and the fabric itself are equal already. So now you're just going to go ahead and sew it like so. Sew it round like this to hold it in place, making sure that you place both equally. Now go ahead and give all the 3 peplums a nice press. Then after you must have joined all the upper panels, for the front panel, get your ironing ball for ironing bustier. Just go ahead and open the stitches like I'm doing. Open the stitches very well and iron it very well, the both sides of it. After ironing it, you're going to be needing to use the ball to shape it correctly. Just watch the way I did it. Now after the ironing, I went ahead to do my joining. Please go ahead and do your joining and turn the part that are necessary for turning with the lining so that you could have this result that I have here. So next thing that you're going to be doing is that you're going to be joining the side seams. Go ahead and join the seams by whatever allowance you added of both sides so that we could attach the peplums. So then afterwards, one thing that we need to do is to get the upper panel after you must have joined the 2 sides, and then fold it so you could mark the center of it notch. Then do the same thing to the peplum, hold it in place so you could find the center of it and do what? Notch. So then we go ahead to attaching it on the upper panel. Now notch to notch, right side facing right side, you're going to place it like so and match it accordingly all the way through. Then you go ahead and sew it by just by half of an inch all round. Afterwards, we're going to go ahead and attach the zipper. After attaching the zipper, the blouse is ready. As you can see, you can decide to attach belt holder, sew belt holder of 1/2 inch on both sides of the waist, and then attach the belt, or simply place the belt on the waistline itself. But to make it more professional, I would advise you attach belt, sew belt holder there. So guys, if this tutorial was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe to my channel. Also put on your notification bell so that you'll be notified each time we upload a new tutorial. Until next time, please help share the video to other communities you belong to so that people that have not joined our family can join us. Ciao.